Hey everyone, this is Mr. Everything, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my about 3-month experience with Visible Wireless, Visible by Verizon. It's a prepaid cell phone plan. Personally, I'm coming from Mint Mobile, which is on T-Mobile, Visible's by Verizon through their tower. It's going to be a few parts to this video, so I'll probably timestamp it. You can pick what you'd like. I have no problem with Mint Mobile. I've been with them for many years. The main thing I'll give them is their prices never increased. They've added more expensive tiers, but they've always kept that same $15 a month plan. The simple issue I have with Mint Mobile is I like everything about it, but the coverage I have some issues with. Where I live, T-Mobile works just fine. Where I work, it works just fine, but I often have to drive and go places. And a lot of times it's more rural, and then the further I go out, it's even more rural. I'll have a lot of places where there is no T-Mobile, and pretty much everyone I know uses Verizon, and I don't hear them really ever complaining about it. So I just figured, just for peace of mind, I'd rather have a little bit better coverage. So that's why I started looking into Visible. And I think there's Total Wireless, which I've had family use that before. I didn't know it works. I mean, anything on Verizon's towers is pretty good, but I didn't really like the account and the website. I think Straight Talk is pretty much exclusively through Verizon now, but Straight Talk's a little bit more expensive. So for me, I decided I wanted to try Visible, and that's the first thing I would like to really get into here is how easy it is just to get a free trial. You don't have to give them a credit card. I don't even know if you really even have to make an account. I mean, there probably is one to some level, but I don't know if you have to make a password. You go on their website and you can just check this out on your own in case things ever change. But it's so easy. If you have to have eSIM, I think they can send you a physical SIM, but most stuff is eSIM now. And it's really easy. It's a 15-day free trial. You don't have to commit. You don't have to put in a credit card or any type of payment. It's really just simple and straightforward, as long as your phone's unlocked or will work with Verizon. But I would just highly recommend having an unlocked phone. It's more simple, and it's pretty easy to acquire an unlocked phone now. And their website just walks you right through it, usually with like your IMEI or whatever. Now I have the new iPhone 17 Pro Max, so that's why I wanted to try a new service on it. It is capable of dual eSIM, so I still have Mint Mobile and then Visible on the other SIM. So it's very easy. I would recommend that if this isn't your first phone service, then the phone that's dual eSIM, you can just use both, and that's what they even recommend on their website for the trial. You can pick and try which between the two in case it for some reason wouldn't work in your area, but Verizon is always pretty much good on coverage. Now, one nitpick I'm going to have with it is I really didn't like that the trial is just the base service, just the Visible. There's also Visible Pro and then Visible Pro Plus, and you get much faster speeds, especially with Visible Pro Plus. You get access to Verizon's 5G UltraWideband premium data. To me, I don't really understand why they wouldn't, almost like a dealer of some sort, you'd think you'd want to give them the best product to kind of get them hooked on it. So I don't know why they give you like the worst tier, unless a whole lot of people exploit it or something, and they just don't want their network congested with people that just keep maybe redoing the trouble. I'd imagine it's tied to your phone, but with that being said, I was mostly going for coverage, and since the coverage worked everywhere, I decided to go with an actual paid plan on Visible. And then once I decided to try the Pro Plus, the premium tier, just so I could get the best speeds and everything, and I was very happy with those speeds. So I'm not sure again why they wouldn't just go ahead and give you that right out the gate, so you can experience the best. And then if you want to go down, you're like, oh, well, maybe I don't like this. I think I'll pay more. You would think from just a strategic perspective, they would kind of want you to test them on their best service just for the 15 days. Now, pretty much the only issue I had, which I think it's probably on my end, was when that trial was about to expire and I decided that I wanted to stick with them. Almost all these carriers always have like an introductory offer. Usually once you're signed up, you don't get anything. But the introductory offer was the Pro Plus trial or plan, but it was an introductory price. Like I think it's half price for 6 months. Normally I wouldn't even want that Pro one because there's some things I don't even need in it. But I figured it's cheaper than the others, so let me go ahead and get that just to use the deal and have it for 6 months. I don't have to worry about it. So before my trial even expired, I went ahead and purchased that credit, so it would apply to that. And I think what I do is I turned the auto pay off. So whenever my trial ended, it just said I needed to make a payment or do something in order to keep the service active, even though a few days prior I already paid and had like, the order number and everything. So the only problem was I had to contact customer service to get it ironed out on the website and in the app. It wouldn't let you do it. It just keeps saying there's like an error when I try to look at my plan or anything. So I had to call, and that's one thing I don't like. I personally prefer automated and like chat and stuff over having to talk to someone, especially because you usually go to some call center. But in their defense, even though they're a little bit pricier than Mint Mobile, but I think that's the Verizon kind of thing where they have better customer service because you're paying for it. So I did go, I think probably someone from India, but they actually were very easy to understand. And they were talking common sense, like they knew that I had an issue, and they were talking about, they didn't say, oh, did you try to turn your phone on and off? Like they actually knew what, to get right to the root of the matter. And then they understood what I wanted to do. And then it was more back and forth on chat. But I did have a few phone calls, and they pretty much fixed it within a couple hours. And I didn't have to pay again. They just applied that plan that I paid for. And then after that, they even gave me a follow-up call. So it was pretty convenient. I kind of prefer not to have to talk to people, but they did it all well, and it was pretty professional and pretty easy to do. So I was impressed with that, but I think that transition from the trial to the paid plan should be a little more foolproof. Okay, so now I would like to be a little more direct and just show the phone itself with a visible service. So you can see here I'm running dual SIM. If I swipe down, I have both my Mint Mobile and my Visible. What I'm doing, obviously you can receive, if you have two SIMs, unless you shut it off, I'm receiving calls and text from my Mint Mobile number, which is my preferred number, and then my new Visible number. But I specifically went in and picked Visible to be my active first priority data for cellular service. And you'll see that Visible, when you're on the Pro and Pro Plus plans, you get the ultra wide, so it's their premium tier, Verizon's premium 5G data, to where Mint, you get 5G, and it's not really restricted, but you're not on their ultra capacity. At least I've never connected to it, so I would assume it's just they don't offer that. But with Visible, you do have to pay. Now, when I was on the trial of the standard plan, I didn't have any issues, but it was significantly slower, although completely usable for especially on your cell phone. So first I would like to, let's do a speed test here. So I picked about the closest server. Pittsburgh's usually as close as it gets to where I'm at. And that's definitely some solid speeds right there. Again, I'm only getting 2 bars. I'm inside right now. Outside, it's better, but it's still completely usable. And I've been surprised. Often I get pretty good upload. It's a little bit lower now, but I've had it in the 20s and 30s, which especially on a phone. I'm not uploading videos on a phone, but if you would have a bunch of pictures or something you want to send to someone, it actually does pretty well. Let's go ahead and do one more. This time of day, there probably is a little bit of congestion on the network, but the ping, especially for cellular, is really good. Now, being that it is the prepaid version compared to directly through Verizon, you are subject to deprioritization, but I haven't really ever had any issues. I think Verizon in my area is pretty well fleshed out. It can handle a lot of users. And on as far as speeds go, if I compare them to Mint Mobile, which is again on T-Mobile, I actually get very fast speeds. Some parts of this town, I can get, when I'm near the tower, I can get 1,000 download. I can get low, well, I don't know if the pings are much lower than 30, but they're very good. And the upload can be pretty good on certain towers. But that download can be crazy fast, but it's kind of useless because on Mint, unless you get like their unlimited plan, which I think is still capped at like 50 gigabytes, and then you get like slowed to 2G speeds. Especially if you have a lower like 20 gigabyte plan or something, those speeds, I mean, you'd only be using them for a speed test pretty much, but that'll just burn through your data to where all of the visible plans are unlimited. Just the way they do it is, again, you'll be subject to slow down if there's a lot of traffic on the network, but that means you can use as much as you want. And the worst you'll have is it might slow down from time to time. Compared to Mint, you always get a fast speed, but then once if you are the person that might really max out your data, then you basically have almost like dial-up speeds. So for me, even though the Visible is on their ultra wideband and Mint just goes on 5G and not ultra capacity, in my area, T-Mobile is much faster, which I do like, but the Visible is still incredibly good. Those are excellent speeds for a phone and for what I would use a phone for. And the fact that they have better coverage kind of makes me lean toward Visible now. And the last thing I'll show is their app, which I'm not the biggest fan of. You can look at my awesome editing right here. I'm not a fan of their app. I think it is like super cheap looking, super minimal, not that functional. Now up here shows your phone number, which isn't that big of a deal, but you can, if you go to number transfer here, I could like transfer my Mint Mobile number over, which I might touch on a little bit later, but I haven't done that yet because I'm still running both numbers separately, so I'm still paying for both. I'm not ready to just drop Mint just yet, but that is pretty nice how that's prominent right up here. And then you can go over to account. You can see their app is really slow too. I mean, we just did a speed test and you can see how slow it still is. And here again, you can see where I paid for that premium plan, that deal. But when you go to it, watch this, just doesn't work. Give it a second. Again, everything takes forever in this app. Doesn't work. So it's kind of just things don't seem to mesh well together. And then you can also check your data usage. I'm not using that much, but it's again nice just to not even have to worry. I don't have to ever check it. When I was with Mint, if I would forget to turn off my network when I'm or cellular when I'm at home and not on Wi-Fi or something, then I might end up using a lot and have to pay attention to it. To where this, I never even have to think of it. Again, I will do my referral link here, so if you want $20 off. Now, conversely, let's go into the Mint mobile app, and it's a lot snappier. You have everything you need to see right up front. You can get into here, check, referrals, change your settings and everything. And what I like, you can easily look at your plans right here. Look, go into your plan, shows you how far you're paid up. You can go ahead and change that. I dropped my plan. I used to always go if this was my bread and butter, or sometimes this one. But now, since I have unlimited data, I went with their minimal data just so I can keep my phone number and everything with that just for now. But look how easy it is. I can change things, mess around with stuff like that, to where it always seems to lock up or have issues on the Visible app. So they really need to improve their app. Mint isn't the greatest thing I've ever seen either, but it looks good and it's functional, so that's really all you can ask for. There still are a few little fringe areas where the service might drop out, but that's okay for me because like 95% of the places I'm at, it works, which I'm happy with. Surprisingly, a lot of times when both Visible and T-Mobile are, I'm picking them up, especially indoors, believe it or not, T-Mobile oftentimes is better. I think in my area, T-Mobile is a little bit more fleshed out. They have newer, more capable 5G. But the fact that Verizon just seems to have more towers and probably long-range bands, it seems like, they tend to just be overall more consistent, even though a lot of times when I can pick up both, T-Mobile will outperform them on speeds. But for me right now, what I'm leaning toward is just more of a consistent connection. And the last thing I'll touch on real quick was when I was in the Visible app, again, you can port your number over. But if you are, in fact, coming from Mint Mobile, it is not easy to do. When I was in the Visible app, that one part I was covering on your account tab, it has your account number right there. There's a button you press, and it gives you a temporary port out pin. It's all automated and goes through real easy. To where Mint, you don't have access to that. Your PIN is the last four of your phone number, but to get your account number, you have to go through customer service. It is through chat, so it's not that hard, but they leave you on hold forever to try and deter you from doing it. With that being said, though, waited for half hour, 45 minutes a while back, so I do have, and I screenshotted it and put it in a notes app. I do have my Mint account number and PIN if I ever do just want to go ahead and port my number over to Visible and cancel Mint. Personally, if I did that, since I prepaid, I would wait until my final month with them if I do want to drop them. But I just wanted to add that in case you are coming from Mint. You want to port your number, you'll have to know that. It's not something you can easily get. You have to know how to do it. So hopefully you found that helpful. I think that it's definitely worth, especially how simple it is to get that free trial, to try it out, especially if you know Verizon works in your area. I like Mint Mobile too, and you can try them out, or any other carrier for that matter, but it's really easy to go with Visible and at least give it a shot. And I will include a referral link at the bottom in the description to where you can get $20 off on a plan. If you're going to go ahead and pay for it, you might as well at least save some money there. So if there's anything else I can answer, let me know, and I can keep updating with speed tests or anything else. But I think I won't have any issues here, and it'll be pretty straightforward, which is exactly why I'm paying for it. So thanks for watching, and you'll see me in the next one. Have a good one.